Traveling the world is a dream come true and something that millions of people dream of doing every day. But being a tourist comes with its downfalls. One of those downfalls is being a female solo traveler. There are so many threats and dangers out there that people do not realize. Today, we're telling you insane stories from Lexi Limitless as she traveled the world. On YouTube, Lexi shares her amazing experiences with her viewers. She has traveled to every single country in the world. Isn't that crazy? She's an honest person who doesn't hold back on the bad part of traveling. Some of these horrifying things that have happened to her put you immediately off traveling. Her first story is at the age of 14 when Lexi traveled to India with her family. She was excited to travel all the way from the United States to a completely different country with different cultures and food. Something she didn't expect was the boiling hot temperature. One of the biggest mistakes that she had made was wearing shorts in public. At that young age, she was not focusing on what she should wear. Instead, she wore what every teenager would wear, shorts and a tank top. This just isn't the right clothing in India. The horrible part is when there were strange men following her around to check her out. They went as far as to make dead eye contact with her. Then they looked her up and down. Lexi even noticed people taking pictures of her body. This is something nightmares are made of, right? How would you feel about random people taking your photo without your consent? It's absolutely insane. This made Lexi feel like she was in the wrong. Finally, at a more mature age, Lexi realized that it's all about cultural differences and that in India, women don't dress like that. Lexi wasn't aware that in India, it's common for male members of the family to escort a female member in public. That's pretty much to say if you're a girl, you can't go without the guidance and protection of your brother. Doesn't sound great, does it? Just hold on a minute if you think this is bad. Lexi's bad experiences don't end here. Public Wi-Fi sounds great and all, but be aware that this is a major gateway for hackers to get in your personal information. That includes your location, bank account, and so on. Lexi decided to travel to West Africa. That's something most of us won't dream of because of the violence that goes on in that region. Unfortunately for Lexi, an immigration officer harassed her the entire time. She was simply not welcome there. They had a clear problem with her not traveling with the husband. Locals even tried to propose to her. Lexi instead laughed off all the proposals. How uncomfortable, right? Lexi, on the other hand, was completely caught off guard because this is something that doesn't happen in the States. Obviously, Lexi's a sweet girl that doesn't say anything because she doesn't want to offend anyone. She simply laughs it off in the face of these outrageous demands. But from another perspective, this is completely normal in some cultures. Female travelers are constantly experiencing this kind of harassment because they are seen as odd for traveling by themselves. Guinea-Bissau is one place that leaves a lasting impression of Lexi, one that is far, far, far from good. From the immigration form to the address that you're staying at, there's a clear and comfortable feeling about it all. She hands in all the necessary documents to the immigration officer, but he starts to act shady. This officer was asking her for all sorts of personal questions like where she's planning to go, how much fun she's willing to have, to where else she's planning to travel to. He asked her so many questions that are not a part of his job. Think about it. Have you ever been asked that many questions when you're traveling? It's kind of insane. Lexi, being an extrovert, answers all the questions, being extremely nice. The weird part is, while she's telling him where she was planning to travel to, he wrote down every word she was saying on a piece of paper. Yikes. This is a moment where you call in his manager. Beware girls, or guys, but let's be honest, this happens more to girls than guys. End of story. Prove me otherwise. What happens to Lexi is extremely unprofessional. While she goes through her passport control, this same officer walks side by side with her. He even goes as far to help her with her luggage. If you're a traveler, have you ever heard of a passport officer following you all the way to the baggage claim? This officer never stops talking to Lexi all the way to the exit of the building. He still keeps her passport while doing all this. Then he asks her to get into his car. He offers her a ride to his hotel. Ugh, just ew and creepy. At this point, Lexi is so scared, not knowing what to do. This person in power has her passport. She demands her passport back, and luckily, he hands it back to her. She then jumps into a taxi to try and get away as soon as possible. She feels manipulated and scared before she even starts her journey. This, of course, ruins her experience and impression of Guinea-Bissau. This man or his friend can easily find her during her stay in the country. The entire time in the country, she's scared that she's gonna get abducted like the girl in the film Taken. And of course she should feel like that. She is scared of human trafficking. She's all by herself in a hotel room. Perhaps considering taking a friend next time you travel? What do you think, Alex? gal, what would you do in a situation like this? Another one of her horrible experiences is when she leaves Ghana. As standard procedure, she has to get a stamp on her passport to leave the country. In line, Lexi is ready to get her passport stamped. The immigration officer looks up and down, totally grossed out. This officer stares at her. Stares. He says this, "If it was up to me, I would never let you leave my country and would tie you up in my basement." He says this in front of his co-workers. Lexi is petrified by this moment. Who even says stuff like this? Lexi has never been threatened like this before in her entire life. Luckily, this man stamps her passport and lets her go. Even though she comes out unscathed, the idea of being locked up in a basement still haunts this innocent girl. Of course, Lexi should have reported this incident, but unfortunately, she didn't. All she wanted was to leave Ghana behind once and for all. Lexi's worst experience of all is here, guys and gals. Lexi travels to Indonesia. As she's traveling for work into a remote area called Raja Ampat, this place is breathtaking. What is not so breathtaking? If you're a diver, this is the perfect place for you. The rural island is such a tourist attraction, Lexi is unable to resist it. All of a sudden, there's a helicopter that takes people around. As she's heading back to the mainland with other people, the ferry doors open, but suddenly 50 locals get onto the boat. Then one of these locals tries to take Lexi's carry-on bag. This is insane because Lexi never allows anyone to touch her carry-on bag. She ends up fighting with this random guy to let her bag go. Out of nowhere, another man starts groping Lexi. She cannot believe what is happening. She has never allowed anyone to touch her without her permission. She's repulsed with all the people around her staring. Lexi does the only thing she could think of. She starts screaming at the man who has touched her. She screams, "Don't touch me!" Everyone on the boat can hear, but that doesn't help. This man starts grabbing her in an aggressive manner. He doesn't care about her screaming. The boat stops at shore and Lexi immediately gets off with her bag. She's lucky to even get her bag back. Another woman next to Lexi isn't that fortunate. She has been robbed. One of those men on the boat took her bag that was full of camera gear and valuable possessions. This poor woman runs around in panic trying to find out what happened to her bag. She asks the policeman where her bag is. They don't help her out one bit. In fact, they were in on the robbery. These are just examples of things that truly happen to travelers every day. Traveling has its own dangers. People forget that traveling isn't what you see in the movie. You have to be vigilant so that you won't be abducted, made to feel uncomfortable, or robbed. No one wants that, right? Thanks for watching. Please subscribe, like the video, and leave a comment. We'll catch you on the next one.